14 teams have fallen by the wayside. 2 sides remain for the ultimate test. Only one will leave with one of football's most treasured prizes. From Football Park, it's history in the making. Port Adelaide and Brisbane in the grand final of the 2001 Ansett Cup.
Look at the number of players here that haven't had grand final experience. There's a lot of new games tonight, isn't there?
No doubt about that. Manganine, in fact, won the Michael Tuck medal for the best on the ground way back in 1993 when he won the Brownlow medal. There's Chad Corns and Nick Stevens, 36. So 1 goal, 1 voice, together we stand for history in the making. 36 South Australian National Football League grand finals is a big boast, isn't it, for the Port Adelaide Magpies. This is a very different team, a different club, but they're, well, they're together in so many ways, aren't they, at Albert and Oval?
Look, I think they're a team that are often underrated when you look at the list on paper. Perhaps doesn't appear to have the strength that some of the other sides do, but they do play very well together as a unit. And look, there's some real history to be made tonight. They can basically christen their trophy cabinet, get some silverware in there and start their own tradition as a club.
Number 1 lingering at the back there. He's been really important to them in the 4 matches so far, Matthew Primus.
He has. Look, he's taken to the captaincy like a duck to water, hasn't he? Really leading from the front. He's a big fella that always gives a strong contest. He also acts as a link player for them and can be quite inspirational. And there's a rather familiar face that's going to lead the Lions out tonight, Justin Lepage.
With Ackermanis right behind him. Ackermanis injured last week, and he talked about the thrill of playing in a grand final during the week and said, look, it might be the highlight of their whole career. You never know what's in front of you. You've got to take it when you can get it. Wilson, we see there, was just fantastic on a tool last week at Lang. I wonder if he'll get Bradshaw tonight, or do you think Paxman will go down back?
Well, I tend to think Paxman won't go back this week out of necessity. I mean, he did prove to be an effective foil up forward last time, but when you look at that Brisbane forward line, he may be needed down back.
There's Andrew Russell with them, ex-Essendon, the young fellow in the white, who's their fitness coordinator, who has done a great job. Here are the Lions, so it's a great night for them, just as it is for Port Adelaide. Their first AFL grand final at this level, and Lepage to lead them out. No Michael Voss, that's a real shame for Voss. I mean, he would love to have been here. Trained yesterday, but whether he failed a fitness test this morning or not, I'm not sure, but it would have been a big decision for him to make.
It would have been. I guess he's too valuable to risk long-term in a match like tonight. But having said that, look, they're obviously treating it very serious, the Brisbane Lions, because they've been close to full strength basically every round of the Ansett Cup, so they mean business.
So we're just about set. Let's go down to ground level for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stand for the national anthem of Australia to be performed this evening by Rick Price.
So we're set to go. Huge roar here at Football Park. Port Adelaide and Brisbane. The power on the Lions. Keating and Primus. You'd reckon the start's going to be pretty important here, just to settle some nerves down. Jew's kick off the ground didn't go far. Darryl White was crunched from the front, and it will be a ball up. Gee, life's funny, isn't it? Stuart Jew and Brett Guerra played in a grand final on this ground with Danny Holm about 6 months ago when Central Districts won, and the captain of Central Districts lost his life this week in London. Ackermanis' kick around the corner to centre half forward. Mead probably hung on to, no free kick, and then a good tackle on Stevens, who round arms a couple. The power's got him, and it'll be a ball up.
Now, was Luke Powell trying to handball the ball then, or was he just
trying to handball something? So the Lions in their attacking zone. Primus getting a hand to it, almost like a rugby scrum early on. Clark comes away, there's been a whistle. He's going to have to give it back to his teammate. Black has been a key man for this Brisbane Lions outfit. Simon Black between centre and half forward to send the Lions deep into their attacking zone for the first time over the head of Lappin. The lead is on, and Alistair Lynch will have the first set shot almost directly in front.
That was a tremendous lead from Alistair Lynch. He'd led on 2 prior occasions, looking basically to the outer side from Simon Black. Wakeland was playing off him, playing a few yards in front. In the end, Lynch just doubled back to the goal square, went around behind Wakeland, and then came out the other side on a strong lead.
Just kicked the 1 goal against Carlton last week. That was in the first quarter. He's kicking from 47 metres. It's a drop punt that is away to the right. First score of the night, first score of the grand final.
So Francis, who we've talked about pre-match, short to James, who's had a couple of terrific games, particularly against the Bombers and the Kangaroos in their first and semi-final matches. Doesn't get a lot of distance, gets it to half-back, Mead a target, Lynch with him. Franco read it best. Little chip good to Dew.
Oh!
Tackle was high in the end, I think. And then play on call to Stevens on the burst. Kick a good one. Paxman's got it. Hands out in front. Releases the handball. Can Francis do it from here? He's got under it. It goes to the goal square. Bouncing away. Franco's left foot goal. Porter got the first.
That's the perfect start for Port Adelaide, just the thing they needed to get the crowd involved in the game and make sure that Brisbane are aware they are playing away from home. Nothing worse than hearing all the crowd noise for the other side. Good contest, 1-on-1 in the goal square. Gavin Wanganeen, Aaron Shattuck's the man who's got the job on him, which might be a little bit of a surprise to some people, but Franco just following the ball down, jumped on the loose ball, finished it off very well off one step on the left boot.
Early joy for the Power. Great mark in front of the eyes by Paxman. Keating and Primus go at it once again. Franco's been very good early on. Almost held too long. Wilson gets buffeted out by Ackermanis. Shrugs the James tackle and floats it high up towards half forward. Out the back it comes towards Bradshaw. Little bit of fancy work. Got the hand pass away to Scott. Chris Scott kicks up towards full forward. Thumped clear. The Brisbane forwards under the pump once again. It comes back towards James on half back. He takes the mark. Can send it up to Montgomery on centre wing. James running. Montgomery goes back. He wants to go longer. Over Corns. Big pack of players. James down in front. Pike is there also. Steadies. Cool to Lepich. Off to Clark. Drop the hot potato. Scott gives him good support. Now Darryl White. To half forward, that's a clever kick towards Power. If it sits, he's in business. Will swing back onto the left foot. Short little chip was meant for Brad Scott. Lappin chips in now, in trouble. Tries to get the hand pass clear. Stevens, a chance for the Power. This is a good start. Bolton takes it at half back, goes short, and it's going to be okay.
To Burgoyne, who loads it up a bit. Corns and Lepich, what a duel that should be tonight. 2 very good overhead marks. Lepich belts away. Clark, who was really disappointed with himself a moment ago for just missing a ball on the way through, and this will settle him down. 21-year-old kicks to half forward, gets it inside 50. Mead went really early. He was crunched in the end, and he's going to get a free kick. The ball was away at that stage, but Keating did get all over him, and Mead's got it at half back. He's going to switch. Or lazy kick, and Primus sits and waits, and they might be in trouble here. Little handball okay. The giveaway there from Dew was good to Polton. Back to Dew, who's had some touches early, importantly, to Wilson, to Burgoyne, or Cockatoo Collins, over the top of Wanganeen, too far. The Lions have got numbers. Michael turned his man inside out okay. Back to Lepich, clever kick. Scott sits, waits, takes one on. Couldn't quite get around Corns. Forced a handball towards the line. Boundary throw into half forward.
Gentlemen, the Lions bench at the moment is Des Headland, Richard Hadley, Damien Cupido, Robert Copeland, Matthew Kennedy and Bo McDonald.
So Matt Kennedy keeping all the young guns company down there on the bench. Good tackle on Burgoyne. Goes again. Ashcroft has been busy early as well. This is Kingsley. Best and fairest back in 98. Towards Corns territory once again. Montgomery lurking. Watch out. So too Franco. The kick partly smothered. Michael wants the boundary line. Power will see it over. And we've got another throw in.
They do look dangerous every time they go forward, Port Adelaide. We have mentioned that they don't rely on the marking forwards, but the number of players that do hit the contest at pace looking for the crumbs is certainly a very good sign at this early stage. Primus and Keating. Lions fans delighted to see Crackers Keating back after horrendous problems last year, and he's got the free kick on halfback. Thinks about Darryl White in the middle, elects to go longer. Jonathan Brown has to beat a couple, almost pulled one down. Big test for him. Primus has it at halfback.
I think the Lions will be pretty happy if Primus is forced to kick every time he gets the ball. It's probably the weakness in his game, but he's short to Kingsley, that's okay.
Wasn't the intended target though, Bruce, I guarantee you that on that occasion.
So centre wing. Lone goal to Franco. Kick to half forward, not going to get there, Keating's got it. Just didn't have enough to get to Cockatoo Collins. Keating back to White, back to Johnson, so nothing gained here. Just set it up cleverly now to Black. Now they're away, the Lions. Black can put a probing kick. It's a beautiful kick. Just touched on the way through by Primus, importantly, to Brown. Still with Brown. Got him, gone.
It's quite simply, you just don't get that long. You do not get that amount of time at this level. He did everything right, but just didn't dispose of the ball.
So Stevens to Carr at centre wing.
Goes long, up towards Wanganeen.
He's got a player loose in the square.
And doesn't wait. It's James. He's going to have to beat Lappin in front. James goes again. Ackermanis tries to crunch him. Ball spills free towards Franco. There's a couple there due as well. And it's Stewart due at the bottom of the pack.
Fellas, interchange for the power. Schofield, Murray, Ackland, French, Guerra and Corns.
Lappin. Thanks, girls. Kicks to the open spaces on centre wing. Brown's going to be after at least three there. He's given away a free kick. And Francis will pick himself up on centre wing.
Certainly plenty of contact there. I don't think it was malicious in any way, but gee, it was solid. He's an important player for them, Fabian Francis. Can't afford to lose him at this early stage.
Calling for the stretcher. And it's being brought out onto the ground now.
It wasn't just the actual contact of the collision, but after that he landed heavily and the really back of his head slapped into the ground, which would have certainly made things a lot worse.
Every precaution taken as Mark Williams now has to consider his options. It's been a tight start, just one goal scored that came from Josh Franco.
While you're there, Sandy, we might add there is a slight breeze favouring the left end, which is the Brisbane Lions end. But with today's football, it doesn't amount to much.
No, you're right, Curls. Jared Schofield is the player who's going to come on to replace Fabian Francis.
They got to watch this guy, Schofield, because he's got great running power through the midfield.
Well, good to see Fabian Francis up.
A couple of little skirmishes going on as Francis comes from the ground.
Look for a torrid start here, Bruce.
It's good to see that sort of feeling in the game, though. You'd expect that. I mean, it is a grand final. Let's not forget that.
Just about every player at the moment in one half of the ground. Francis off, Schofield on.
To see Peter Barnes, the doctor there, just going out of screen now to the left, just talking to the trainers and giving them some instructions.
So play goes on. Dew takes the mark. The left foot is a long way from home. Just forward, in fact, of centre wing, just pops it over the top. Gives it back towards Kingsley. In towards half forward. Good mark taken by one of the forgotten men. Cockatoo Collins.
Well, again, he's found himself in the goals during the Ansett Cup. There was a lot of talk about him in the off-season, whether or not he was committed enough, whether the body would stand up to the rigours. They put him to the test. They demanded certain things from him, but to his credit, he worked very, very hard. He has had a lot of hamstring troubles in the past, but he decided just to go flat out and see what would happen. He's got himself very fit and certainly got himself very motivated.
Kicking into a slight breeze. And kicking from 40 metres directly in front. Close. Just fading to the right with the balls.
Doctor's report on Fabian Francis. As we saw, a pretty solid head knock. Okay, no damage. May be able to resume a bit later.
Thanks, Neil. So that's a pretty good result. So Cockatoo Collins just disappointed there. I think he knew it was pretty close in the end. White's kick. Corns pretty hard at Lepage. Free kick to Lepage.
He just didn't look at the ball at any stage, Chad Corns, on that occasion. His sole intention was just to take Lepage out of the contest.
So Lepage may square off here short. Wants to. It's called to go now, and then pushes to Pike. Got him. Pike, couple of premierships of the Kangaroos, one in particular the day one, the big one, but also a night premiership for them. Kicks to half forward, belted away by Mead. A handball back by Franco, who started really well. Kingsley to Carr. Carr, who probably would have had the job on Voss. That's a good kick to Cockatoo Collins. Cockatoo Collins, who's been a revelation in this Ansett Cup series. Schofield, back to Mead. That sloppy Cockatoo Collins missed it. Now they're in trouble, Port. They haven't been doing that in the 4 games prior to this one. And now Johnson at centre wing gets almost a half forward and delivers beautifully. Brown missed it. Really, not Brown. Yes, it was. Really should have taken it. And in the end, it's a Port Adelaide free kick. So a couple of mistakes. A few nerves, you'd reckon, out there with the youngsters.
And you mentioned Joshua Carr, Bruce. Doesn't have to pick up Voss. He's got Simon Black instead. So it's out of the frying pan into the fire, isn't it?
Says something about the depth and quality of the Brisbane Lions midfield, doesn't it? As Schofield goes from half-back.
Kicks towards centre wing. Lepage, fine grab in front of Corns. Lions have just the one behind on the board at the moment. Lepage on centre wing. An excellent crowd here at Football Park. A flat-looking mongrel punt. It's going to make it very difficult. Again, some heavy work. Sees the ball taken towards Corns. Eludes the tackle of Pike, but in the meantime the whistle is sounded, the ball is going to come back, and it's a free kick going to be taken by Cockatoo Collins. He goes short, finds Wilson. Michael Wilson's away. Through the middle he goes. They try and set something up here. Long, inside 50. Wanganeen's the target. Couldn't quite take the mark. Paxman is there as well. Needs someone going past. Has him now in Burgoyne. Peter Burgoyne flicks it high. Inside 50. The galloping hordes gather. It's punched down in front. The Lions desperate to clear. They will to. Through Ashcroft. The veteran goes wide to another one in Darryl White, the vice-captain now. Steadies along the boundary line. He gives it to Christopher Scott. And another one. They're out of trouble to Ashcroft again.
Trying to set it up. Port keeping the pressure on though. And the ball nearly out of play. They've kept it in. Burgoyne centering kick, a good one to Carr. Port have looked just the better team so far. There's nothing in it on the scoreboard. Primus, who loves to run forward, and he's done it here and taken the mark. And that's young Copeland, number 30. If you've just joined us, Robert Copeland getting a chance because Michael Voss Couldn't pass a fitness test to kick the cockatoo. Collins, brave effort by both players there. Brad's got in, cockatoo Collins. Back it comes. Out comes Lappin to Pike. Pike, good kick. Out wide, gets to Lynch at centre wing.
Long way from home is Alistair Lynch on centre wing. Past Montgomery, up towards the 50. Keating was there with us, a magnificent mark at the back by Brown. He's an exciting young player. This number 16 from Warrnambool. South Warrnambool he played with. Geelong under-18s. He's gone back almost to the centre of the ground. He's kicking with the aid of a slight breeze. He's trying to get the Lions first. Kicking from 55. No problems with the distance. Away to the left, another behind.
We saw Alistair Lynch mark that ball pretty much on his own on the wing. Darryl Wakeland just zoned off him, dropped back to the half-back flank, trying to make a 2-on-1 contest at the next kick.
Polton gets it to a half-back. Wakeland's his target. They've used Wakeland a lot at the kick-ins in the Ansett Cup competition. Ackermanis just worries his Port Adelaide opponent out. Ball up about 55 metres out with the Lions in attack.
Bruce, at this stage, we've found it very difficult for the power forwards to establish a high-marking player. The Brisbane Lion defenders seem to have them well under control.
Goals have been pretty hard to get, full stop curls, haven't they? With just the one so far.
That's correct.
Primus now in trouble. He threw it in the end. He got himself into trouble and pushed the ball up, and it was a throw. Threw it up and then fisted it away. Have a look. Whoop. And the umpire, unfortunately for Primus, was right there. Now White's going to push it right to the goal square. Lynch and Bradshaw. Bradshaw's got it. Well, it was one of the things that was talked about before the match, wasn't it? Just, are they one man short down back in terms of the big matchups?
They do work well in tandem, these two. I mean, the reason Bradshaw was able to take the mark then was a result of the bullocking, where you can just see Alistair Lynch. He basically held two players off, including Bradshaw's opponent. He was able to drift around behind and stretch up and take the good mark.
Kicked 5 goals in their first game in the Ansett Cup this year, and he's put it through. So Bradshaw puts the Lions in front. McDonald comes on for Keating, and Brisbane lead by a point at 1-2 to 1-1.
It was going to be a big job for Jared Polton to hold down that spot in defence on a key forward like Bradshaw. It does give them the luxury then of playing Paxman up forward, but we'll just have to wait and see whether in fact Paxman is required to come back into a defensive role. Certainly very dangerous when you've got two strong marking forwards like Bradshaw and Lynch up forward.
Big Bo McDonald coming in to complete the quarter on the ball against Primus. McDonald wins it, but not necessarily out of the centre. Burgoyne starts them off once again. He's been pretty effective wide to Cockatoo. Collins takes a fine mark, stretching the arms and doing it well in front of Copeland. A name like that, you could be forgiven, thinking that he may play for another club. Not to be. Good luck to him in his first game. Cockatoo Collins just chipping straight over the top of Copeland. He wanders down 4 or 5 metres.
He could get it back here.
Burgoyne's 55 out. Again into the slight breeze. Corns a target, belted away from him, and a behind conceded. Just 4.5 minutes left. Keating receives a little treatment. Just easing him back in. Fabian Francis, as you saw there, appears to be okay. Lappin takes the kick out. He's on half-back. Scott provides the shepherding. Kicks towards centre wing. His target was Ackermanis. Well done, however, by Nick Stevens to effect the spoil.
It was well held last week, Stevens. Ackermanis not playing at Colonial with a bruised knee, but back in. So Stevens making a better start here, along with Dew for Port Adelaide. They were two of their quieter players last week. James back in board. Wilson clever in the end to Mead on his wrong side, forced to kick defensively. Scott should mark it, and he does. Port have had some trouble coming out of defence. They've picked out the Lions on a couple of occasions now. Short to Clark. This is Nathan Clark, centre wing, getting up to half forward, runs his full measure, and then pops it to full forward. Bradshaw and Polton. Bradshaw almost, and then Wilson defensively gives Brown a chance, though he is outnumbered. Port get there, and then Wilson along the line, wants it badly and gets it. He's a fine player, Michael Wilson. Norwich Rising Star winner a few seasons back. And very good footballer. And he did the job on Lang last week, and he started pretty well here. All square at 8 apiece.
Still in the Lions attacking zone. McDonald got a run on it. It was taken high by Primus. He's going to take the free kick. Bradshaw a target. Primus goes back as well. Kingsley is there too. And in the end, it's Kingsley who heads to the outer side. Copeland went a little too early. He'd be nervous, but he's got a kick here. Well done. It's a high ball in towards full forward. Primus is there. He was interfered with. It mattered not anyway because they had the numbers, but he was definitely being held. They'll come away. Carr on half back. Looks for the centering ball and has it now. And again, they're able to steady through Josh Franco.
Awkward looking kick, but the idea was okay to Kingsley. This is where they've had some trouble, I think, just getting it past this next line when they kick it. He's in trouble. He's had it a long time, and may cough it up here. Port have got numbers. G. Wilson took forever. Dew. The Lions could go for the kill here. They came in hard. Wilson was forced to kick away. Backhanded by Cockatoo Collins was clever. Back to him, though. They're under enormous pressure. And aren't the Lions doing a terrific job? Every time Port get it at half-back, they seem to be able to set up a zone and stop Port from attacking.
And they're doing exactly what they did in the semi-final against Hawthorn last week. They're just putting incredible pressure on, particularly on the opposition defence, to stop them running the ball out.
You didn't think you'd hear a whistle in that passage of play at all? Gee. The Lions again will go forward. It's Scott up against Paxman. Scott gives it to Pike. Martin Pike straight down the middle towards Bradshaw. This time a one-hander. And again, the height telling.
This is the matchup at the moment that's causing problems for Port Adelaide. It's not just the 2 marks that Bradshaw's taken. It's another couple of contests where he looked like he was going to take it as well. So it'll be interesting to see just how long they can persist with Paxman forward leaving. Polton probably to do a job that he's a little bit unfamiliar with, picking up a key forward, which is a tough ask on him.
1 of 3 to kick a half century for the Lions last year. And now he has kicked 1 goal, 1. Bad miss, really. Directly in front, only 30 metres out. A lead by that 1 behind.
Port off the hook a couple of times here, I think. Kingsley. Good kick to Mead. Now, can they set something up? They haven't been forward for a while here. Mead's floater may get to Wakelin, who's come all the way down the ground, but a bit of a waste in the end and a boundary throw-in. Primus is going to have to do a lot of work tonight to get back and help their defenders, isn't he? I mean, we saw him a moment ago back on Bradshaw to help Polton out. So will Mark Williams keep playing sort of Russian roulette with Polton there, or will he make the change? He's sticking for the time being, showing faith in his man. Lions all over the top of James, ball up.
As you say, that he's being moved right now,
Is
Bruce.
he? Well, there you go. There you go. Great minds think alike, Jason. And others as well. But I just wonder who the... well, Wilson's gone.
Wilson has gone back onto him, yeah, which is, again, an unusual matchup.
Well, he did the job on Lang last week. He's probably even taller than Bradshaw. I'm not sure if he's as good a mark, but he's got the height, and Wilson did a really good job, so he'll be hoping that he can do it again for him. So in the end, it's been a real stalemate of an opening term, hasn't it? Port probably started best, but it's been the Lions in the last 5 to 10 minutes that have had most of it. Can somebody conjure a late goal? Franco works forward, then tries a toe poke. Scott with him, little give okay to Burgoyne, stops and props. Centering ball's a beauty. Duke can goal. He's the one man that can go bang. He didn't get onto it. He kicks it wide. Can Wanganeen take one? Almost. Wanganeen clever. Not quite. The ball comes across to the front of the square. Cockatoo Collins and Paxman. Left foot. He's hit the post. Oh, in the death on the first quarter. Didn't they have some chances?
Well, they have looked dangerous every time the ball hits the ground up forward because they have so many running type players that look likely to pounce on the ball and kick a goal. Wanganeen came very close. The one thing they probably need from Stephen Paxman, if they're going to play him forward, they do need to get something out of him in the form of a couple of goals, and that was an opportunity lost.
They got it last week, a couple, so right on quarter time. Jew just rushing it a bit. Wanganeen almost conjuring something. And in the end, Paxman hitting the post. Well, it's like a 12-round championship fight. They've sort of sparred for 3, haven't they? And no one's really been cut, except for Fabian Francis.
Well, that was a pretty serious knock. I mean, hopefully he'll be able to come back on.
I mean, in a way, Voss goes out before the game. Francis off at quarter time. 2 absolutely key players. I mean, they'll be 2 of the top half a dozen players when you're assessing this match from either side. Certainly Voss, probably the premier player in the 2 teams, but Lepic has done the job on corners today, hasn't he? Done a terrific job. Wonderful crowd here, just about capacity considering what's going on with the new grandstand. And at quarter time, it's 1-3 apiece. It's 9 to the Port and 9 to Brisbane. Fair enough, Neil. So Wilson's still on Bradshaw. Bradshaw's in the goal square for the Lions. There's Lepic, who's done a terrific job so far on corns. So Port go to the left here. Fabian Francis is warming up on the boundary line, so that's a good story for Port Adelaide. Schofield clever, Dew, well done, pushes to James. James got some space, and then a penetrating kick to fall forward. Front spot was Ackland, who's come on the ground. He came on late in that first quarter to provide a bit of height. Clark's handball good to White, to Pike at halfback. 4th AFL club, the Demons, the Lions with Fitzroy. Kangaroos, where he had terrific success, and now with Brisbane. Kicks to halfback, front spot, Wakeland. Terrific pickup, I think, for Port Adelaide, this fellow. Real quality player. I guess you could say that the Lions in getting Michael and also Pike similarly have done well. Experienced, solid. I think he's helping Meter a heck of a lot in these early weeks.
Still only 26 years of age.
So there's plenty of footy there as Wakeland from centre wing.
Puts the power inside 50 once again. Paxman was edged out. It's taken to the line.
Probably stiff not to get a free kick as well. It wasn't too subtle the way Darryl White, got underneath him and just pushed him out of the way. Looks like he's aggravated the injury as well, Darryl White, just gingerly walking around.
Francis still warming up. Primus flicking it out the back. Stevens, it's a high ball, it's close, it's very, very close, it's a goal. What a way to start for the Power in this second quarter, and what a goal by Nick Stevens.
That is a super snap. I mean, the angle that he's kicked it from and the direction that it's coming from, the ball's obviously going to be curving from right to left. That is, gee, you'd probably kick 1 out of 10 if you sat all afternoon practicing them. I mean, on average, seriously, you would kick 1 out of 10 of those. That is just an unbelievable piece of skill. And he's had to cover 45 metres with the kick as well.
It's a great result, isn't it? I mean, when you consider Brisbane missed 2-3 easy chances.
Well, they started the first quarter like this. Can they go on with it now and kick a couple in succession?
So Port by a goal. Stevens with a miraculous shot, end goal there. Keating belts it away to Brown, to Black, to Chris Scott. Just measures a kick to fall forward, and just running underneath it was his twin brother Brad. And the mark at the back taken by Stevens, getting back there. Franco's handball was a bit hot in the end. Kingsley just couldn't keep his feet. Had to look twice. Stevens at the other end of the ground, taking the mark in the back pocket.
Interchange for the Port Power are Francis, Murray, Ackland, French, Guerra and Corns.
See Fabian Francis here, Neil, and I just saw Scott McIve having a long talk to Damien Cupido.
He will want to play, but the doc may say no.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on Francis. Primus gets it to James, who does unload. He does it, Francis, but gee, Lepic is giving Corns a lesson at the moment. He's really on top. Short kick, okay. Centre wing.
Lappin plays on dangerously. Pressure on Ashcroft to go back to Lappin again. They may get out of it eventually. It's Black, who's been well held. Black on centre wing, forced onto the right boot. Centering in towards the middle. Power have the numbers. and they've got the time. Up towards Cockatoo Collins, but sits, he's in business. He's crunched on the 50, picks himself up, goes again. Leppich gets him, ties him in a knot, and he's going nowhere.
Gee, that's great commitment, though. I mean, look, he was running flat chat. He knew Leppich was coming at him. He kept his eye on the ball. He attacked it. It was a pretty solid collision. Darryl White looks like he's in all sorts of difficulty. We mentioned a couple of minutes ago that he looked like he'd aggravated an injury, but that's not a good sign.
Play goes on. We'll keep an eye on him, but this is what happened.
Well, that looks like he just got winded behind play.
So the ball on 50 for the Power at the moment. Keating tried to force it down towards Copeland. He couldn't take it. Primus and Black and locking it up. Clark's over the top. Wanganina's there as well, and a number of others. As Cupido warms up on the sideline.
Darryl White up on his feet, just sucking in a few of the big breaths, I think.
Still on 50. Keating and Primus again. Cockatoo Collins slaps it back inside the 50. Corns in trouble. Tries to sweep it wide. Paulton is caught by Brad Scott. Loses it. And again, it's locked up.
It looks like he's coming off, Darryl White.
Well, like Voss, he had to pass a fitness test to get here, White. He had adductor strain, so he had some problems in the tummy muscle, so that wouldn't have helped. What's happened a moment ago? Due to James. Still James. He had it for a while. Off the ground by Power. Is it out on the full? It is, so he's a bit stiff there. Kick going to be taken by Josh Carr, who's a natural left footer. He is tucked away. This is Nick Stevens' territory, isn't it? Short now. Dew's within range. This is a real weapon that they've got. They can kick it within 50. Left footer again. Isn't it handy when you can give it to a bloke on the perimeter, knowing that he can go all the way? This would be a blow to the Lions, a goal here in a low-scoring match early in the second quarter.
I'll tell you who was picking up Stuart Dew, Bruce. It's the man that just left the ground.
Okay, well, Dew, 50 metres out. Oh. It's a good kick. He's drilled it home. I tell you what, he'd kick that more than 1 out of 10, that fella from there, wouldn't he?
There's something about left footers. They just look beautiful. I mean, natural, skillful when they kick the ball. But we heard Mark Williams before the match say that it wasn't so much a more attacking style of play. They'd just been converting better, and that's the reason. We saw a great goal from Stevens a few minutes ago. A fantastic set shot from 50 metres out from Stuart Dew. And he'll relish the space now that Darryl White's not there.
Darryl White off, Stuart Dew goals, and suddenly the Power kick clear. Only 2 straight kicks. It's not a bad lead in what so far has been a low-scoring match. Franco kicks down towards the half-forward line. That looked like Barnaby French on the ground. James leaves it and they go charging again. Don't tell me he's done it again, Stuart Dew. You little beauty! 2 in 60 seconds, and the Power is on fire.
Amazing what happens when you've got a matchup that's working for one team. All of a sudden that player's taken out of the equation. That was Darryl White who'd been picking up Stuart Dew, and all of a sudden Dew kicks 2 in the space of 90 seconds, and that's got the crowd involved in the game as well. Good work from Barnaby French, who'd come on. He was at centre half forward where Chad Corns had been previously. He took the front position in front of Leppich, got a good handball out, and Dew kicked another ripper.
Well, Porter away here. Nick Chickwidden alongside of Mark Williams there. Fabian Francis about to come back on for the Power. They're roaring now. They'll go up another degree or 2. Brisbane need a steadier here. They got on top early in the or late in the first quarter, but it's all Port Adelaide. Remember that last grand final they played? They didn't kick a goal in the first half against Hawthorn. Well, they've got 3 in about 5 minutes here. Well done. Could you do it again? It's going and going and going home. He's kicked 3. Unbelievable.
Well, this is frightening. Not only has he kicked 3, he's kicked 3 from 50 metres. They've all been rippers.
Well, it's taken India a long time to get a hat-trick. I reckon Stuart Dew's just matched Harbour, John, don't you?
Gee, how pivotal is it going to prove? Darryl White going off injured in rather unusual circumstances, and all of a sudden the man that he'd been minding, he's found a little bit of space and that deadly left foot.
So what are you saying? He's going to finish with 7?
It's
just that time of the year, really, for hat-tricks, isn't it? Doesn't matter where you are. And Lee, realising now that he's got some thinking to do. Out of the middle once again. The power looking very strong and hard at the footy. Jonathan Brown slung, and it's going the way of the power as Brown tried to get the hand pass away, and in frustration gets rid of his opponent. Darren Mead from half-back. Mead towards the 50 once more. Wanted Barnaby French. Scott's in all sorts of trouble. Gets taken to the ground. A high ball by Polton. Again inside 50. A big clash of bodies. James lurking wide. Gets the hand pass. Not number 4! You're kidding! No, you couldn't do that, Stewie. Magic, yes, but miracles, no.
He's creating problems all of a sudden for Brad Scott, the man that has to pick him up.
And Jason, last week, Dew was taken from the ground. He had no effect on the game whatsoever.
I don't think that'll happen
The way he's going tonight, he might be carried from the ground on someone's shoulders. Here's Scott under real pressure from Burgoyne, who takes it towards the line. Pike, the Fitzroy 96 best and fairest, picks it up beautifully and kicks towards Keating. Had to stand his ground. Primus did well, showed great versatility. Paxman gives it back again. They're looking okay at Port at the moment. Kingsley a high ball in towards Dew and Corns. The latter was a big flyer, but it finishes ricocheting over the line, and a throw in to take place in the right forward pocket.
This is where the home crowd advantage come in. The home crowd are just urging them on here, aren't they? They're right behind them, as you'd expect. And Francis to come on, so Fabian Francis is on the ground. Carried off the ground on a stretcher earlier on in the first quarter. And must be 35,000 people here, roaring the power on here. Little give by Wanganeen, good. Kick back to the goal square. Well done, Mal Michael. That kick was a good one by Schofield coming in.
Bruce, Darryl White, who was quite distressed when he came off, as was his teammates with the result with Stuart Dew, but he's up and running now, so don't discount him. I think we may see him back in the second half.
Matty, is it anything from last week, or is the injury completely tonight's, do you think?
I'd say it's tonight. It looks to be a lot higher than last week's.
Fair enough.
I will say this, Bruce, he had a few chosen words to say to a certain Port Adelaide player as he was going off.
5-5 to 1-3. So he'd probably love to get back on. Corns competitive there. Lions have just got to stop the rod here. Cockatoo Collins confidently. Corns legged in the end, surely. Picks himself up. Well played to French. Should have given a little give. No, he shouldn't, because perhaps he should have inside. Marked on the line. Getting a bit excited up here as Pike's away.
Barton Pike, a couple of bounces. Draws the player, then gives it off to Scott. The Lions are desperate for a score here.
Downfield free kick.
They have not added to their quarter-time score, and we have 10.5 minutes remaining.
Well, this quarter it's 6-1 inside 50 in favour of Port Adelaide.
Luke Power, hardly sighted. Clark, inside 50. The high ball. Bradshaw came out, appeared to be held. Schofield defends again. He does well to the outer side. And listen to them roar here because he's back. Fabulous Fabian. Copping one early. Short to Burgoyne. A high floater lands on the chest of Martin Pike.
Fellas French off for what appears to be a serious ankle injury.
Scott. To centre wing. Lynch a long way out. Wheels around. Heads towards the 40-metre mark. Big pack of players. Who's going to recover first? The Lions need Brown firing. He's there at the moment, but it's Kingsley who finds the safety of the boundary line. Throw in the Lions' attacking zone. They must take advantage of this forward thrust. Keating can't get a crack at it. Primus had it, lost it, and finally lies over the top of that ball.
I'll tell you where Brisbane are having problems at the moment. It's the on-ball division. Simon Black's only had a few touches. Luke Power, who he's been changing with, has only had a few. Ashcroft actually went off the ground after being held quiet. Ackermans has only had the 3 possessions. They've just got nothing on ball, really missing Michael Voss.
And adding to that also, Jason, 5 goals for the Power come from on-ballers.
Yep, with Stevens, Franco and Dew, Neil. There's a kick to the pocket. So French is interesting because I thought French did really well when he came on at centre-half forward. A couple of handballs, a kick, so he's rolled an ankle by the sounds of it, Curls.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for the power, and of course they can ill afford to lose another big man.
So the Lions in attack, they certainly need one here. It's only a 4-goal game, 5-5-1-3. Keating did well, and then just smothered by Stevens. In low, Ackermanis. They need some magic from somewhere. Who can provide it? Stevens just shrugs one off. That doesn't quite get clear. Good defensive work by the Brisbane forwards here. But Burgoyne with a little bit of magic comes clear with a bounce. Outside the 50, some strong work behind play. And then Burgoyne's kick over the back. Wants Cockatoo Collins. Well done, Pike. He did have the drop on him. Kick off the ground from Montgomery, who's back on the ground. Port trying to get it out. Cockatoo Collins. Crunching there. Chris Scott just flattened Cockatoo Collins with a hip and shoulder. Port are not going to like that. Play on court. The little give good. Francis at 50. Measures it. Goes for it. It's coming back. He might have. He might have. He has. Well, it is all happening.
Well, we highlighted him in the pre-match build-up as a player that could kick some team-lifting goals. When you've been ironed out, left the field on a stretcher, come back, and then after a passage of play that was just so hot. I mean, the attack on the ball, Chris Scott knocking Shea Cockatoo Collins for 6. The ball broke free, and then Francis, another beauty from 50 on the run.
What a return for Fabian Francis. There's Shea Cockatoo Collins. Got slammed by the Scott runaway train, but he's okay. Big quarter for the Power. 6-5 to 1-3. Get the feeling they haven't finished yet. Keating has given away a free kick.
See, that looks stiff because he got a clear fisted ball.
And it was interesting because it was the umpire furthest away that gave the decision. But it's been given, and Schofield's away on the outer side. The Power go forward again towards Franco. Oh, he was off. He thought about it to the man going past. No question of that. Now he chips short. And again, it will be Fabian Francis. Will he unload? Will he unload and have a crack?
He's being told to by his teammate, Peter Burgoyne. They're in real trouble at the moment, Brisbane. They're not winning any of the ball around the ground. And the Port players are just running in numbers from the full-back line forward. They're just all taking off. And the number of options up forward is unbelievable. The short passes, they can always find someone. Fabian Francis on the end of this one.
A light breeze at his back. Stammering approach, goes close to the man on the mark, gets underneath it. Doesn't matter, he still kicked it. Fabian's got 2. And the Lions now looking down the barrel.
Well, the Lions right now will be really regretting a couple of chances they missed in the first quarter, but Port Power are just making every post a winner. Fabian Francis looked like he got way too close to the bloke on the mark, and as a result, you have to kick the ball a lot higher. You lose distance, but somehow he's got the distance, maintained the accuracy, and kicked another ripper.
So Lee Matthews here with Gary O'Donnell. They're getting it from behind too, from the Port Adelaide fans. Gee, good idea that the doctor was overruled and Fabian was allowed to come back. Kicked a couple. We don't know exactly what Peter Barnes said, but Port are getting everything here, and they're winning it, and they're earning it. So Derek Murray, who was an emergency a couple of years ago against Hawthorn in the final, good kick to half forward. Montgomery not quite. Somebody for Brisbane's got to stand up here and stop it. Cupido, clever to Headland. Well, there's some magic in these two young men, isn't there? Cupido and Headland. But at the moment, they just need some basic footy, I think. Some good straight basic footy. Keating didn't take the mark. Primus in low. Scott in hard, ball up.
Gee, they've had a lot more of the ball this quarter. Port Adelaide's like 45 possessions to 23, and in the midfield, almost double. And that's where they've got to get something started, the Lions.
See a bit of there's Darryl White getting ready. Remember, Stuart Dew kicked 3 goals when White went off the ground. Ackermanis run straight through Schofield. There's a bit of depth and quality in this Port midfield. You see Franco go off for James. 2 players in good form here.
I'll tell you the other thing that's happening, Bruce, is the Lions aren't too happy about what's happening on the scoreboard. They're starting to get angry, and we've seen a couple of physical clashes already.
Don't blame them. They're 6 goals down. Crackers Keating. But again, there's been a whistle from the umpire furthest away, and this time it's going the way of the Lions to be taken by their acting captain, Justin Leppich. Looks as though Headland is coming off the ground for Darryl White. As he kicks down towards Brown, he's put him under the pump. Mead tried to get a boot to it, was unsuccessful. Wilson did. Just a little toe poke by Michael Wilson, but kept in by Jonathan Brown. Beautiful smother, however. That's grand play. Wilson off to Kingsley. Kingsley wants the boundary line, and Shattuck is there. So excellent defence. Wanganeen working as well.
That was not good news on Barnaby French. A very nasty knock on the bottom of the leg. I don't think he'll take any further part. Cognitive Collins, just a slight ankle turn.
Primus with a one hand, then runs into Leppich, still has possession. He's leading by example. Primus goes again, just a little tickle over the top. Wanganeen towards the line, as we know Wanganeen can, and Leppich. 5 minutes left in the half as Headland has a spell. And the Lions have not scored for the quarter. Primus taken out on this occasion, but he recovers beautifully, then gets hit by Scott. Close to the line, comes back to Chris Scott. A high floating punt kick up towards the 50. Mead, one of the spoilers from behind, and a good mark taken in front by Wakeman. Darryl from the back pocket, just chipping short, finding Burgoyne.
He was fantastic then, Wakeman, because he shrugged off Lynch and then stood his ground. Took a terrific mark. Burgoyne at halfback, strolls away, kicks down the line. Big fly came from Montgomery. He tried to use Clark, and then White back on the ground for a boundary throw-in. Well, you just wonder about the Lions. They've had it in attack for about 4 or 5 minutes, but nothing's happened. There's the interchange. Barnaby French is looking quite distraught there. As Neil Curley said, quite a serious injury by the look of it. Guerra comes on for Port Adelaide. Burgoyne just went without it, then got crunched. Francis, clever. He's about 90 metres out, so he's too far even for him. Kicks to the pocket, Corns, and also it's Michael. So boundary throw in. So Leppich released off Corns here to try and give them some spark up forward.
Yeah, Corns has moved into the goal square, and Mal Michael's picking him up. He's had a tough night earlier on Leppich, now on Michael, but at least he keeps presenting himself.
Chris Johnson and Bo McDonald both coming on for the Lions. Just got to get something going before half-time, don't they? It's trailed by 6, Primus, White, still Primus and White. A real wrestle for the ball. Chris Scott helping out. Gee, Darryl White's copping a real buffeting here, isn't he? He's in a bit of trouble again, I think.
Jason, do you get the impression out there that maybe the Power Boys are playing a little more in front?
Well, they certainly are, playing with a lot of confidence and just flat out attacking the contest.
Primus tried everything there. Burgoyne back to Stevens. White was hard at it. The Lions holding their ground here. Lappin only as far as Schofield. He's a clever player, Schofield, to full forward. Corns hasn't grabbed one all night. Michael belts it away. It's back to the 50.
Free kick's being paid.
Free kick who to?
To Port Adelaide.
Against Cuberdo.
To Brisbane. So against Cuberdo, so you're right, yeah. It was for a push in the back. It was actually Brian Sheehan was the umpire behind play, but Cuberdo fell into the back of his opponent.
That's Guerra, I think we're talking about. So Guerra has just come on, gets the chance with his first kick to kick a goal. There we have it. There's the replay. Well, they've worked hard here, Brisbane, in the last 4 or 5 minutes to hold Port up. But this is going to sting, isn't it? 50 metres out. They haven't looked like missing in this quarter. It's a good one. He's got it. Well, poor old Warren Treadray's the one that's probably caught most of it over the last couple of years, but their inaccuracy has been a big talking point in this town. But all through this Ansett Cup, if you forget the first game, and particularly tonight, they've been dead-eyed dicks, haven't they?
Well, that's why Mark Williams said there's no surprise in kicking over 100 points every time we play in the Ansett Cup, because the boys are kicking straight.
What a scoreline. The Power are 8-5 now, switched on here at Football Park. Keating on his stomach on the sidelines. Primus wins it again. Brad Scott trying to hold up the defence. Power has been very quiet. Hardly had a sniff, but he's not on his own.
Getting absolutely murdered in the middle of the moment, the Lions.
They've restructured their forward line. Leppich now down in the goal square.
Ashcroft's had one kick. Johnson's had a couple. Powell's had only 3. Ackermanis has had only 2. There have been a lot of quiet players. Bradshaw needs some assistance.
Well, the other thing is, we just heard Matty Campbell telling us that Leppich has gone down to full forward, and we saw Lynch come off earlier. It's not so much Alistair Lynch's poor form. They haven't had a lot of the ball going down.
Corn's off as we speak, and Kane Ackland is back on for the Power. He might celebrate his birthday. He turned 19 yesterday, Ackland. If the Power can win here tonight. They've got a lack in numbers at this moment, however. Michael defends against Montgomery. Mal Michael over the top towards Copeland. Copeland goes short to Johnson. Johnson's on centre wing. Got to get past Wanganeen. Never an easy task. Johnson takes him on. Wanganeen gets him. That's the sort of stuff we love to see. Great determination and typical Wanganeen as it's kicked back towards the centre wing and the mark taken by Guerra. Kicked the goal with his first kick. With his second, he finds Montgomery too far out. Got players loose towards half forward. And this time he pinpoints Peter Burgoyne. Burgoyne, Wanganeen. Going backwards at the moment, just trying to set up the forward thrust. He's in the middle of the ground. Football Park is rocking at the moment. And Stuart Dew just plucks in the one-hander. And he'll go back onto that left foot from smack bang at half forward and shoot for his 4th for the quarter.
The difference at the moment is purely and simply confidence. I mean, Port Adelaide, everything they do, every disposal they approach at the moment is full of confidence, expectation that everything will go right, whereas the Brisbane Lions can't get anything to happen for them at the moment, and they're really struggling. What a quarter this bloke's had.
He's kicked 11 goals in the Ansett Cup so far. He's kicked 3 tonight.
Oh, he has launched that.
And he's gone with another big one, and he's kicked number 4 for the quarter. In what could be a match-winning quarter for Port Adelaide and for Stuart Dew.
I would be very surprised if it wasn't a match-winning quarter. I don't even think the 30 or 35,000, maybe 35 plus Port Adelaide fans that have come here tonight would have expected anything like this in their wildest dreams. Stuart Dew is just turning it on, and he has let this rip off 3 paces from about 55 metres, and it's gone through a post hole.
Michael Voss in the background there. Boy, wouldn't he love to be there? Wouldn't the bloke in front of him love to have him out there? But they need about 6 Michael Vosses at the moment. Stuart Dew, what a weapon he is. He's kicked 4 magnificent second quarter goals. Power, not Port Power this time, but Luke Power. To Leppich, to half forward, to Chris Johnson. Good kick, Leppich. Johnson run down by Wanganeen a couple of minutes ago, which was a costly turnover. He doesn't know it, but there's very little time remaining. They desperately need a goal to give them something to go into, and they're not going to get it. Gee, Wakeland has been a good player in this Ansett Cup. Caresses it out wide to Carr. This has been a magnificent quarter. Well, Lee's been there and done it before. He knows what it's about, but these fans haven't really lapped it up like this. Maybe not since that first showdown in 1997 with the Crows. There's Nick Stevens. Stuart Dew and Fabian Francis. I guess Stevens started it, didn't he, with that miraculous goal early on. And then Dew just banged forward and then hit the post with another one. And Francis came back after a serious first quarter injury and just throttled through 2. It's a huge break.
It is. The floodgates open. There's not much now that Brisbane do other than try and win the second half. The match is virtually gone.
Oh, what a turnaround. Port lead by 50 points at half-time. It's 9-5 to 1-3. So can the Lions make a game of it? They trail by 50 points at half-time. Let's see if they can make an impression with Leppich forward and Mead picking him up. Primus had a terrific opening half, the captain. So McDonald to go against him, wins it. Dew gets down low, was feeling for a high tackle, it didn't come. And it'll be another ball up, throw up here.
Again, it's a different look forward line for the Lions. Leppich at full forward, Lynch at centre half forward. Also Power, Cupido and Bradshaw.
That was Schofield being worked on by Andrew Russell. Wakeland, Lynch takes him out. No free kick, Lappin squeezes only as far as Kingsley. That's his 10th kick, he's been terrific. Wide to Nick Stevens. had appendicitis at the start of the Ansett Cup, so he's made a terrific recovery. Kick to Paxman. Centering ball. Has he got the legs? It has. So Port starting positively here to Carr. He would have woken up this morning thinking he'd have Michael Voss. Corns front spot. Got it.
Oh, super mark.
Gee, you would have seen his dad play a lot, Sandy, over the years, Graham. And I know it's a tag he probably wants to get rid of, but he just reminds you of Graham, the way he can take a mark like that.
No question of that. That had a little bit of Graham Studley written over it.
Interesting to note here, boys, that Wangan has gone back, and very little of he or Corns has been sighted so far on this game.
So Corns' first shot for goal, 45 metres out. It looks all right. He's kicked it. Well, the good thing here is that they're all starting to contribute, aren't they? They're all getting involved.
It's a great opportunity when you're winning a lot of the ball to get all those players involved in the game, particularly those that perhaps haven't as much of it early on. You see all smiles, Chad Corns. It was a brilliant mark. He kept his eye on the ball all the time, took it at the second attempt, even after being spun in the air. It was only his first kick for the night, but what a way to come into the game. He'll be looking to follow that up with a couple of similar type efforts this quarter.
One kick, one goal.
And the first power goal from a tall.
And a nightmare start as far as the Lions are concerned. If they have any chance of getting back into this game, they need a couple very, very quickly. Desi Headland gives it away towards Lappin. Lappin straightens up now, but beautifully smothered by Stevens. Ball spills free. They go again towards Leppich, tucked tight on the line. Black is there with him, but Leppich has taken over. The power pressure continues.
The Brisbane interchanges are Chris Johnson, Brad Scott, Jonathan Brown, Clark Keating, Shattuck, and also Copeland.
Thank you, Matty. Beau McDonald trying to do it from behind. Stevens again, chipping towards the half-back line. White intercepts. He was buffeted from pillar to post in the first half, but they've straightened him out during the break, and it's Darryl White again. Up towards Bradshaw territory. Black scouting. Power is there also, but Wakeland has other ideas. The too good at the moment. Kingsley comes away, takes it wide to the outer side, out of the immediate danger zone, and Paxman takes the mark. He's almost down to centre wing, and he's showing plenty of versatility. Kicking up towards half forward, Cockatoo Collins wanting and getting the free kick. Hasn't been a night for Jason Ackermanis at the moment, but he's not on his own. The lead is on, and there he is again. Corns, a Spring Hill jack, bounces straight up. Lynch is there on the last line of defence, and it's Alistair Lynch. Across to Pike, back to Lynch, and out of the immediate danger zone.
So from half-back, kicks to centre wing. Kingsley, well done. He's been a star. He's certainly had the better of Black and anyone he's been against. Goes in short. Burgoyne had plenty of it. Cockatoo Collins, long kick inside 50. Corns, almost, had a good chance. Back to Montgomery. Franco, good smother coming from Hadley. And then a toe poke from Pike. Gets it to Ashcroft. Probably his second kick for the night. Looking for power, almost crunch. Can he get a second crack at it here? Can Michael get it over to him? Takes it, handball inboard, pretty good. Leppich cleverly, left foot down low. Hits the post, deserved better.
Wakeland up.
And Mal Michael looks like he's been switched forward, swapping with Alistair Lynch, and just trapped the ball very well at centre half forward before feeding it out to Justin Leppich.
There's the crunch that involved Wakeland. But he's okay. So that is the Brisbane Lions' first score since midway during the first quarter. Chris Scott trying desperately to set something up for Power. Luke Power this time breaks what has been a very long drought.
Well, it's taken a long, long time for Brisbane to register another goal on the scoreboard after that first one. And as is always the case, when you kick out after a point's been scored, if you turn the ball over quickly, there will be loose forwards in space everywhere. A good spoil from Chris Scott. The ball got knocked over the top, and Luke Power jumped on it. Hasn't seen a lot of the ball tonight. Certainly be hoping to get quite a bit more, and he needs to kick a few goals to put some respectability on this scoreboard.
Lee Matthews with Gary O'Donnell. So at long last a goal. and a couple of forays forward. Franco through the centre. Brisbane at it. Well done, Chris Scott. And then Franco charges through. And then Burgoyne pushes forward. So away through Clark. So he's in trouble. But he did well in the end and got it to Kennedy. Low handball to Headland. Put him under the pump. Headland with some power there. Just able to get rid of Franco. Well done coming from the side, Scott. Off the ground, Michael. He just might give them something forward here. And a boundary thrown in the right forward pocket.
Fellas interchange for the power this quarter. Schofield, Murray, Polton, Ackland, Barnaby French and young Kane Corns.
Who hasn't had a run yet. Thanks, Curls. So the Lions in attack. McDonald and Primus. Kingsley's handball. Stevens did really well there. Stood up. Francis stops, props, and then confidently bangs away, knowing you'll get distance. Oh, Chris Scott, that was a courageous mark against the flow there with Montgomery coming in hard.
Been the only one getting some of the ball, 14 possessions. That's his 15th, Chris Scott.
It's a pike. Kennedy screaming for it in the middle. Pike to a very congested forward line. Towards Bradshaw, that's his target, but Primus is there. And he is 10 foot tall and bulletproof at the moment. As is the power. Had a couple of options then. It was Kingsley. What a game he's had. Towards Wanganeen, he just pops it over the top. They're playing with skill, they're playing with confidence. And they're playing like winners. Ackermanis, an effective spoil. Kennedy battles hard, but kicks blindly towards half forward. No one at home, and again it's Kingsley. Wanganeen is asked for it and received at half back. Switches play to the outer side. And now they've got a chance. If Josh Franco, running between centre and half forward, gets clear, goes back once again, a little chip towards the forward line. This time it's good. And Carr has it. Now Corns, a long way out. Kicking from 60. Won't go for the long bomb. The lead is on. White is the spoiler at the back. The power have the numbers down in front. Burgoyne, clever little hand pass. Back again to Burgoyne. Tight angle, little bit of fancy work. Around Clark like he was standing still. In towards Corns territory once again. Dew is there as well. Kennedy leads Stuart Dew. Carr comes in to assist. Keeps the ball in play. Needs help. Back pedals to Franco. He's 55 out. He chips a short pass in towards half forward. Montgomery takes the mark.
Gee, that was a great pass coming in from Franco. He just punched the ball in low. It never went more than 4 or 5 feet off the ground because Darryl White was right on the hammer of Brett Montgomery. He's been pretty quiet tonight. He was on early, then went off the ground. Whether he's 100% fit, who knows? Look at that pass coming in. Never went more, look, basically above head height and hit him right on the logo. Great effort from Darryl White to spoil, but there's not much you can do about passes like that.
Montgomery then for his first. He's certainly made news during the summer months. He's kicking for the Powers 11th. And he's kicking from 45 metres. Flat-looking punt kick. Don't have to write down how, it's just how many, and that's his first.
Well, the hole just seems to be getting bigger for Brisbane at the moment. The Power look dangerous every time they go forward. They have loose players absolutely streaming into space everywhere. And you can just see the numbers that they're getting around the ball. There's always an option where they go backwards, sideways, or forwards. Plenty of time there from Franco to pick his target. Picked it very, very well. And it's hard to see what the Lions are going to salvage out of this game now.
Chris Johnson and Clark Keating in the foreground. So they've made no impression as we see Kane Corns and Jarrett Schofield and Derek Murray for the Power. Polton in the background. So 71-16. Just got to make the scoreboard tick over, Brisbane, don't they? Just got to get it happening. Primus been terrific. Cut off that time Headland and then sweeps a handball. Power. The idea was clever, but Cockatoo Collins gets back and then does pretty well and then belts towards the line. Rolling slowly. Francis will probably get there. He does. Inside the line. Comes back into Kingsley, who's having a terrific match.
He's picking up midfield statistics down back. 18th possession coming up for Adam Kingsley.
I can remember Mark Williams telling me early in this Ansett Cup competition that he thought that Kingsley played his best match for Port Adelaide ever. in one of the games. I think it was against the Bombers. Remember that he won a best and fairest a couple of years ago, so it was high praise. This is a good player, this fella, Josh Carr. He is a very good footballer. He's really steeled that midfield. Just in short to Mead. If you go back about 3-4 weeks ago, probably saved the game against Sydney in the dying moments. Short to Montgomery, so they're just building here. Remember in the first quarter when they had so much trouble coming out of defence? Hasn't an hour made a big difference for the Power? Montgomery just sits it up to half forward. That's a poor effort really in the end from Port because nobody went. And Black takes the mark all on his own. Just his fourth kick. Short to Hadley.
Looks towards half forward, Hadley, towards Cupido, but he's beaten by Wanganeen. No disgrace in that. Wanganeen wide to Primus. Oh, they can set something up here too as Primus chips over the top towards centre wing. Stevens is there. Pike preventing him from running on. He too is forced to chip. And Roger the Dodger stands his ground. James goes back to Stevens. Into half forward. Calls the flyer, White in front. Darryl White towards Lappin. In front of Carr, in front of the scoreboard. That looks very good for Port. Wide towards centre wing and the diving attempt by Bradshaw unsuccessful. Started well with a goal in the first quarter, Daniel Bradshaw. Since then, opportunities have been few and far between. Beau McDonald, a metre taller than Roger James. Josh Franco, close to the line, and they're unable to keep it in. Fabian Francis. Big comeback by him, stretch it from the ground, and then only to make a triumphant return with 2 goals in the second quarter.
Young Corns getting ready for his first run.
That's Kane, thanks Curls. On the 50 again, Mead towards the boundary line, got a call from Franco, but he was beaten for it by Hadley. Ricochets away from Wanganeen. Cupido around the body, floating it across the face of goal. No luck for the Lions.
Fellas, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Stuart Dew's handled the ball this quarter, has he?
I think he might have touched it right at the start of the term, girls, but Cockatoo Collins off for Kane Corns. So Kane Corns' first run. It's like coming out at 1 for 300, Corns, isn't it? Batting at number 4. It's a good time to come on.
And look out.
As he has a first crack at it. Carr, good tackle on him, boundary thrown. No, he probably hasn't had a clear position in this term, Neil, Stuart Dew. So, Port player down. I'm just trying to pick him up.
Might be Paxman, isn't it? Correct.
Paxman, thank you. Thanks, Sandy and Jason. Here's a... Oh, boy, bang, crash. Looks to be reasonably all right. Hadley, youngest player out there at 17. Kane Corns, the second youngest, just turned 18. And Hadley pushes to the line as we see Paxman get up.
There's been a couple of clashes like that. It's not so much anything untoward happening. It's just that the Port players have been committed to going to the contest. A couple of times they've actually hit their own players, but it's certainly a positive thing when they're all attacking the ball like that.
Primus lays it down. Once Franco has a second crack, cleverly done. Gets it to Montgomery, Kingsley. Just not happening for the Lions, is it? Kicks to centre wing. It must have been Carr at the back, not Montgomery, because here's Montgomery. Kane Corns, second go. Can't quite get it. Lions all over him. And then White tries to get it out to Black. Umpire letting it go. And now forced to pull it up. And a ball up. So a couple of goals to Port in this term from Montgomery and Chad Corns. Luke Power has scored the goal for the Lions. We see Cockatoo Collins and Ackland. Sandy said he celebrated a birthday this week, turning 19 years of age as Franco's away.
Up towards a half forward and Corns again! In front of the eyes, he got a push and he's going to get a free kick.
Well, if he didn't get the free kick, he would nearly pay the mark.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people don't realise how hard it is to be running flat stick, actually leap into the ball with your arms fully outstretched and take it in the one grab the way he did there. That is a tremendous effort. Absolutely brilliant mark, that.
Fellas, something's taken the toll on some of these Brisbane Lion boys. You've got a fellow like Leppich that just cannot get into the game.
Corns from 52 metres has kicked one. coming back into the square. Big pack of players once again. Clark wants the boundary line. Scott also, and just decides to concede the behind. Tremendous pressure being applied by the power. That might have something to do with it, Curls.
Always hard to get motivated and fired up when you're 10 goals down in the grand final, isn't it?
You look up at the scoreboard and it's 11-2.
But they've got so many good players and not one of them is standing out.
There's a big difference between a grand final here, though, and a grand final at the end of the year. There is a next week here. At the end of the year, you've got about 6 months, haven't you?
Too true. Pike to the outer side. Fine grab taken by Montgomery. Not a tall man, but he's a wonderful aerialist. And he's found young Corns in the outer pocket. This is Kane. Keen to get on with the job. Kicking from 48 metres. Not a bad kick. Not a bad kick.
Oh, he hasn't.
He has. Welcome onto the ground, Kane.
Well, everything that happens now is just icing on the cake as far as Port Adelaide's concerned. Chad Corn started to get into the game this quarter. Also, Brett Montgomery, who was virtually outside in the first half. He had a few possessions, kicked a goal, and now young Kane Corns. Again, the turnover from the kick out, the ball rebounded loose forwards. Kane Corns deep in the flank or the pocket, halfway between. But it's an excellent kick from the tight end.
It seems that everything is turning to gold now, isn't it? Gee, that would settle you down. As for Brisbane, it's a nightmare for the moment. 12-6 to 2-4. They do have to come back here in a fortnight and play Port Adelaide in the opening round. And I think that's a pretty good incentive for Port to try and bury them here. It's a bit of a subplot to this game, isn't it? As Cupido goes to full forward, Bradshaw, Leppich at the back. Can he ride the butt? He can't. Kingsley gets back. Wakeland, oh, they're getting miserable back there. They don't want to give away a thing.
Brisbane have now got both their ruckmen on the bench. Alistair Lynch has gone into the ruck, so he's tried both ends of the ground. Now he's in the middle.
Matthew Campbell down there with Neil Curley. So there's Robert Copeland playing his first game tonight. He'll never forget that, but he'll want to forget the scoreboard at the moment. Poor fella. Stevens run down here. Was a good tackle by Cupido, who can get to you quickly, and then Pike cleverly to Power, who hopefully, decides to go on, and he's going to come off, yes. There was some danger, but it was good mark at the end from Bradshaw.
Gee, that was lucky. Power would have been better off going back and having the set shot himself, as we see Matty Primus having a spell for Port Adelaide. But he went for the chip. There were a couple of loose players. Probably didn't get there as quickly as he would have liked. Bradshaw good enough to cover and take a good mark. Also Simon Black having a spell for the Lions.
So Bradshaw, who kicked the first goal for the Lions tonight, and he squeezed it home, I think, for goal.
Not a lot of joy at the Lions' end. He probably should have kicked a couple in the first quarter. Daniel Bradshaw kicked only one, missed one straight after that. Now he's kicked his second, but it's been few and far between the opportunities up forward for the Lions. Lynch, another one that's been starved up forward, hasn't had a lot of joy. Leppich playing up there now. They just need to do something to try and put a little bit of respectability on the scoreboard, because, as you mentioned earlier, Bruce, they are coming back in a couple of weeks. They need to be competitive.
Matty Primus having a spell, and they're just having a little bit of a look at him. Maybe shin.
Sandy, he rolled his ankle a couple of weeks ago. There was some doubt about him playing a couple of weeks ago, but he got there all right.
Appears to be okay. He's done a huge job tonight. He's led by example. So Ackland has come onto the ground. Power almost had his head ripped off. He's at the bottom of that pack. Kane Ackland straight into the thick of things. Ackland too had his problems last year. There's a pretty disconsolate looking Lions bench, and no wonder, because here they go again. Franco to Stevens, up towards the half-forward line, and Burgoyne.
Now, there is a serious lack of discipline happening with the Brisbane Lions on ballers at the moment, because when that ball up happened in the middle of the ground, there were three unmanned Port Adelaide players on the wing side of the pack, and that's where the ball was tapped. That's where they obviously knew they had the numbers. The ball was knocked out from, I think it was Corns, had got the tap out. And in the end, a quick handball out to one. Well, he could have raffled it. They had three players out there. And then they hit Burgoyne on the lean up forward. I mean, Brisbane just have to man up. They've got to get a little bit of discipline back in their game. Otherwise, well, we know it's a lost cause, but it can still get a lot worse than this.
Burgoyne has booted 7 goals in this Ansett Cup competition this year. Looking for his first tonight. 23-year-old kicking from just over 40 metres. Has kicked number 13 for the Power tonight in his first.
Well, it's getting very difficult to think of anything positive to say about the Brisbane Lions' performance tonight. They do have to come back in a couple of weeks, but gee, you can just see it there. The ball got shot out. I think it was Wilson in the end. Stevens, sorry, Nick Stevens in the end that actually delivered the ball, and they're just running in numbers. I mean, they've got to man up Brisbane. They've got to at least maintain some discipline in the way they set up.
So 4 separate goal kickers for the Power in this term, men that didn't score in the opening half, so that's a good story for them. It's a 10-goal game again. Ackland winning the tap. Lions trying to go forward. Copeland had it smothered off the boot, back into the heart of the centre square. Wanganeen's had a terrific quarter, down back. Francis, geez, a talent. He really is a talent. Wonderful kick, play to Guerra, to James, to half forward. This is good footy to Montgomery. Montgomery squares it to Stevens. Stevens squares it to Ackland. He should handball to Francis, decides not to. I say that because we know that Francis can bomb from anywhere.
Short.
Gets Corns.
He's sharing around like a training drill at the moment.
Corns has been terrific in this quarter. I know Port lead by 10, but it's been a really good sign for him. Short to Stevens, just pops to centre half forward, and Kane Corns comes in from the side and takes a clever mark.
Got to be demoralising. They're turning into a rebel.
Wow, that's the one thing I mentioned before, Sandy, is discipline's one thing. Even when you're getting beaten, you can still do the disciplined things, and that's manning up and playing each contest on its merits. Now, look, that probably wasn't intended for Kane Corns, and Nathan Clark, the man on him, just got caught watching his opponent, not the ball. And in the end, Corns tracked the ball, chipped in and took the good mark.
He's had 1 kick for 1 goal. Chad kicked a goal with his first kick tonight. Will he make it 2 for 2? He has. Tell you what, he's given himself a chance of playing in the opening match in a couple of weeks' time when they trimmed down to 22, hasn't he?
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, a lot of players are playing for their position in the opening round at the moment. And in particular from a Brisbane point of view, I mean, everything's rosy for Port Adelaide at the moment, but from a Brisbane point of view, they've been close to full strength the last few weeks. Now, we know Voss and Hart are out. Maybe McRae might get back into the 22, but other than that, this is the team that will be coming back to play him in a couple of weeks' time. So that is a real worrying sign for Lee Matthews.
Clark off, Johnson on. For the Lions, Ackland taps it into the vacant area. Trying to storm his way through was Copeland. Down towards half forward, but this defence has tightened up. And the Lions now using desperate measures to try and get forward. But look at the hand pass by Francis, forcing it wide. Mead, a chance to pick it up. Pike pressuring him towards the line, and eventually James taken over by Lappin. The Power fans on the outer side giving their team a premier's ovation. And they're not far away from being just that. Here's Lappin, stealing one in the middle, going up towards half forward again. Over the top, Bradshaw caught at the back. The Power defence pouncing on it. Guerra takes the hand pass and goes wide to Fabian Francis. Hand pass coming initially from Kingsley as he finds Stevens. Stevens chipping short once again. Oh, coming. Well, he's not going to be paid and there's no free kick. Power fans don't like that. Bradshaw sitting underneath this one. Marks inside 50.
It's an interesting one, that. I mean, it looked like it was one of those contests where if you don't take the mark, you should get pinged for the free kick. But in the end, they let it go, and he's put the hands fair and square in the back of the head.
I think Aaron Shattuck was a little fortunate. Kick is away to the right.
Perhaps that's poetic justice as Daniel Bradshaw kicks his second behind for the night.
There's a couple of strong features of the Power game tonight. Of course, it's been the pressure they've applied, also their tackling and smothering. They've given away very few free kicks.
So Dew Neil Curley and Matthew Campbell, our boundary riders. Wakeland, said before at the start of the match, they've used him a lot from kick-ins during this Ansett Cup. Just a little short one coming in from Guerra to Wanganeen, who's looked very comfortable down back in this quarter. What a versatile asset he is. Kingsley, what a game.
Loose players everywhere.
Franco centering, not long to go. Can Ackland take what he has? Right on the siren. As Sandy said, he had a whole lot of injury problems last year and turned 19 earlier this week. Yesterday. Well, what a night for him. I mean, it's just one of those nights out for the Power. There are going to be a lot of pundits around Australia reassessing where they think Port might finish after tonight and after this Ansett Cup. I mean, boy, they look at an improved team, don't they? Can Ackland just finish off another terrific quarter? Straight in front. It looks good. It's another one.
Teammates coming from everywhere to congratulate him too. Did a lot of good work to get on the end of that one. When Wanganeen switched direction at half-back, he had actually let out to the side that the ball didn't travel on. He just turned around and bolted forward.
They're sharing the glory, aren't they? Which is a great thing. I mean, it was the due show, but in that second quarter. It's 15-6 to 3-6 at three-quarter time.
Let's hope they can enjoy it. 15-6 plays 3-6. Kane Ackland set to go. In this final quarter of the Ansett Cup, Port Power sending a strong message to all clubs. Stephen through the middle, off to Fabian Francis. Each quarter they've got away to a flying start. This time it's going to be held up by Darryl White.
I think there's a free kick, Sandy. After disposal against France, it's going to go to Corns, I think.
Yes, it is. Ackermanis was away. It is coming back, and Corns, this is Chad, is going to take the kick 25 metres out. This crowd's a little stunned. 25 metres out, almost directly in front. They've got the wave going right next to him. Starts it right, comes back beautifully, and he's got another one. And Port rolls on.
So I guess the byline is that the Corns family are 2-2 at this stage, Kane and Chad.
Correct.
Well, that's just impressive. A gift, that one, a downfield free kick. We can just see now it's against Lepic, not against Ashcroft. Ashcroft was pushing him as he kicked the ball, but Lepic came in and took him out after it. You can see Fabian Francis having a few words to say there. So, look, if you give the free kick away, it's going to be paid. It's cost him a goal.
Darryl White and Chad Corns sharing a joke or two, but it's no joke for Darryl.
I think Whitey's telling him that that one doesn't go against me. That's what he's saying.
13-goal game. Gee, got a lot to think about the Lions, haven't they, in the next 2 weeks? They've just got to salvage something from a real wreck here. I don't think Port are going to let them. Franco, they're going in for the kill. Well, can Jew do it again? He's kicked 4. He's 70 metres out. He got close. He didn't time it. He kicks to the goal square, and it's a behind.
He did try, though.
You know, you can see that. He had a couple of options on him. He looked like he was going to pass, and it was nearly the crowd that made him have a shot for goal. Then they started to roar.
It's almost compulsory, isn't it?
Just didn't time the ball.
And again, over 100 points scored.
So 5 out of 5. In their first 13 matches last year, they scored 100 points on one occasion.
They didn't win too many either.
They did not, but they ended up with 5 out of 22 matches over 100. Well, they're 5 out of 5 in the Ansett Cup. And they're kicking straight 16-7 to 3-6.
Here's Lappin on the half-back line. Kicks towards centre wing. Not too many Lions players can hold their heads high. Chris Scott is one who can. He's really tried his heart out. And so too has Martin Pike.
Nothing up forward at the moment. It's very stagnant, the forward line.
Scott again to half forward. Nipping in is Corns. This time at half back. If he's not kicking goals, he's saving them. To Michael Wilson. The power attack starts in defence. Paxman gives it away to Wanganeen. He chips it towards at half forward, but there's no one at home. And this time the mark is taken by Jonathan Brown. Spent time on the bench. Around to Chris Scott. He switches direction to Pike again on the outer side. Pike spearing it in towards Brad Scott. The former Hawk gives it to his brother. But it's just a battle to get past the Port lines. White. Now an opportunity towards centre wing. Hadley. Rarely sighted, spent a lot of time on the bench. Marcus Ashcroft, very, very quiet, in towards half forward. That was a good delivery, and Desi Headland takes the mark.
Really good vision from Ashcroft. It looked like he might stream in towards goal and have a shot from 45 or 50. Darryl Wakeland was just backpedaling into the square and probably would have been there to stop it from going through. And at the last moment, he just squared it up and found Des Headland in space.
Another one who spent a lot of time on the bench, coming in for just his third kick from 51 metres.
Fellas starting interchange for the power. Primus, Schofield, Cockatoo-Collins, Murray, Polton and Barnaby French.
Thanks, Neil. Francis gets it short and takes a chance. Sort of gets away with it, but did cough it up in the end. The kick not good. Brown's got it. Bit of a sloppy handball to Darryl White at centre wing. He's going to have to go back to Jonathan Brown. You'd reckon a lot of these youngsters are going to take something away from this game, for the Lions have really been shocked, haven't they, here? Been hammered by 13 goals at the moment. Brown's lazy sort of kick to half forward. Bradshaw on a long lead. Handball clever to Headland. 50 out, hooking the kick to full forward. All Port Adelaide. He plays. They might get a goal here. Off the ground by Keating. No, not happening. Mead, what's happened? A free kick, I think, in danger against Keating, going to Paxman. So Paxman away. Port have got the answers. They've had them since quarter time. Wanganeen, Kingsley, who probably was Stuart Dew's the favourite for the Michael Tuck as we go into the last quarter for the best man on the ground. Just slipped through Kane Corn's fingers and a boundary throw in.
Polton on for Wakeland.
Yeah, Wakeland's a bit sore. He's favouring his right leg just a little bit.
Crowd of 35,304 here tonight. That's an excellent crowd, because I think Port would have come here as underdogs despite their good performances, and they have given the Lions a football lesson here tonight and given their fans great optimism for this season, which commences in a couple of weeks. 35,304. Well done. Stevens again, locked up by Lappin. Has lost it.
Well, it was a bit stiff. He didn't really have a chance to get rid of it, but I think what he's been pinged for is the fact that he didn't have to take possession of the ball and drag it in. He could have just knocked the ball on, and that's what the umpires pinged him for.
Lappin is at halfback. Lions' defence has been ripped apart tonight. Kicks towards centre wing, and there's a good mark taken by Ackland. Still only young. Corns launches a high ball up towards half forward. Stevens was a flyer. Pike is a defender. Back pedals to Chrissy Johnson. Spent a lot of time on the bench. Now Ashcroft gives it off to Jonathan Brown. Port fans haven't forgiven him. Paxman.
The Lions don't look like taking a mark at half forward.
Corns. And now Montgomery. Derek Murray getting ready to come back out onto the ground. Stuart Dew.
Crowd just starting to make some noise, and he's at half back.
Too far out to score. James, forever the optimist. Polton just back out on the ground, giving it back to James. Can he get away from Kennedy? Just keeps it in play. Look at this. Goes across the face. And one behind.
Montgomery, the man that came off, having another spell as Derek Murray comes on.
Cupido getting ready to come on for the Lions. Just 2 goals since quarter time. Well, just 1 in the first quarter anyway. None in the second, a couple in the third. Just have been unable to get anything going here. Shaddock's kick. Big fly at the back from Ackland, who's really gaining in confidence here. There's been a good match for him, the 19-year-old. And what a luxury to be giving Primus a good rest at this stage. Their captain, who did so much in the first 3 quarters. A couple of Lions fans here, but they haven't had too much to scream about. But it's terrific to see that they've got some support. Corns, who's had a very good second half. Francis and Chris Scott, Brad Scott, Franco kicked the first goal of the match. Has been good all night. Kicked to centre wing. Got to keep your footing here. Polton did well. He had the tough job on Bradshaw, really, didn't he? And he couldn't quite do it. Kane Corns almost stretched well. Can't quite get away. Headland, is it Chris Johnson, I should say, roughing him up a bit, and it'll be a ball up. Bit of a wry smile there. Jason Ackermanis, not his night tonight. Another great young player at the Lions who's just had a dirty old night.
Black, Lepage, Lynch and Nathan Clark all on the bench as Wanganeen fires away. Up towards the dangerous half-forward line he goes. And the mark is taken by Derek Murray. 50 metres out. On the comeback trail. First game for the year. This for Port's 17th goal for the night. Going with that little bit of extra distance here. Tugs it away to the left.
I think tonight's game has just shown how important it is to have that strong, hard-running, working midfield, because it hasn't been the forwards that have given the power this big win. It's been their running players.
80 points is the margin. Corn sets himself and really marks almost. Unattended, he could have copped one. And there's been a number being taken, so that really is just... And it's Chris Scott who's had his number taken.
He's paying 50 the wrong way, the umpire. He's paying a 50.
It's Chris.
He was paying a 50, started trotting towards the other end, but eventually Chad Corn said, no, I think you'll be wanting to go this way. That will take him virtually down to the goal line.
Well, that really does end the Lions' night, doesn't it? To have probably the... Well, I think he's been just about their best player for the night.
Yep.
Now on report, and Cornsey just kicks another one.
There's been happening off the ball. A few of the players, tempers flaring. A bit of push and shove, but it's all too little too late for the Brisbane Lions, unfortunately. This is the last thing they want now, is a player to get reported, particularly one of their better players in Chris Scott, because they do have to come back in a couple of weeks' time. It was just, look, it wasn't malicious, it was just silly.
A silliness that could get you into trouble. There might be a few things to settle when they come back in a fortnight. There's been a few little things going on, hasn't there?
Well, there's going to be plenty of fuel for the fire, isn't there? I mean, Brisbane certainly will have plenty of ammunition when they come back in a couple of weeks' time after this humiliation at the hands of Port Adelaide tonight.
What is it about grand finals? Can't we get a close one?
Well, how much has the travelling had an impact on Brisbane? That's the hard thing to put into the equation.
Well, Port have been outstanding, haven't they? They really have. You just can't visualise anyone having the ability to have matched their last 3 quarters tonight on this very night. I mean, they would have beaten anyone in the comp the way they played the last 3 quarters.
Oh,
tonight.
without a doubt, they've been brilliant, but I don't think anyone would have anticipated Brisbane putting in such a dismal performance. And it'll be a matter of trying to come up with the reasons for that performance now.
No, Port's excellence has probably been matched at the other end, hasn't it, by an inept display by the Lions. Franco out wide to Schofield. They're all trying to get into the action. He runs his full measure and then bangs to full forward. Can Polton take one? Oh. Almost. Sticky fingers, weren't they? And then a terrific tackle coming on Johnson. Polton gets a high one and kicks it out of bounds. Boundary throw in.
One of the things that has really impressed me about Port Adelaide tonight has been the cleanness of their disposals. They've hit their targets. There haven't been a lot of wasted possessions, and that's something that in the past they've probably been guilty of more often than not.
Right forward pocket. Brown and Ackland. Ackland just gets rid of him. Burgoyne throws it away right in front of the umpire. Big hell.
Nearly threw it to the umpire.
and Richard Hadley. It was never called for throwing in his career, was he? In the back pocket.
He was never in the back pocket. Johnson.
Looks big, Johnson, doesn't he? He looks like he's put on a bit of weight.
Chipping short to Power, who targets Kennedy on the outer side, but Polden's got something to say about that. He's done very well. Plays on quickly, gives it to Fabian Francis, 60 metres out, centering ball, Corns a target, big pack of players. Jonathan Brown claims the mark.
At least he's done some good things down back this quarter. We've seen him at centre-half forward on most occasions, but he's looking pretty adept down at centre-half back.
Short to Cupido, who drifts towards centre wing. Mal Michael.
Nobody
called to play on, and he's got absolutely nothing, as Jason said. Goes towards Clark Keating, who's hassled to the ground. Wanganeen at the bottom. Look at him work hard. Gets it out. It's Guerra in the back pocket. Comes away once more for the Power. Back towards centre wing. Ackland. Go, my boy, go!
Now, I thought he might have handballed that ball just before. He heard the crowd roar, and as Lappin closed, I think he got a quick handball. That may have been stiff.
Lappin to Hadley. In towards half forward, but there's a sensational.
Now, he was out number 2-1, and he wasn't even watching the ball. And at the last moment, he turned around and took the mark. That's unbelievable.
Wanganeen. Magnificent play. Stuart Dew is in the back pocket.
Tell you what, hasn't Wanganeen played a second half? Remember when he ran down Chris Johnson when the game was tied early in the game? Gee, Curls, where would you play him? Forward pocket or half back, Wanganeen?
Oh, he could have his own position, wouldn't worry about it.
Stevens, well, as long as he plays, I guess, because he only played 10 games last year. They can get him up, and they've got him up and running now with Cockatoo Collins, who played 2.
He looks a lot freer, Bruce, because of the not captaining the side. He just looks more than himself.
And he's a dad now. There's a whole lot of things that have happened to him in the last 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Here's James at half-back. Centre wing, wanting Ackland. Well done, Brown, who has been good in this final term. Franco runs it over. Boundary throw-in.
I guess it's been an experimentation from Lee to put Brown to centre-half back and to put Keating forward, you know, with nothing to lose, just to have a look at him.
And he's done all right, Matthew, that's for sure. But they haven't got a whole lot to take from this match in terms of positives. We've got a lot to work on. James, handball away. Kane Corns runs hard, take it over the line, boundary throw-in.
Well, they've pretty much dominated all aspects of the game, Port Adelaide, whether it be possession, disputed balls, inside 50s. They've had the wood on Brisbane all night.
So, again, the Lions without a goal in this term, getting deep into it.
Franco in the sandwich.
I would have been interested to hear what Lee Matthews had to say at three-quarter time, because with the game lost like that, normally a coach will ask something from his players. He'll set them a goal. And whatever it was, I don't think they're anywhere near achieving it this quarter.
You'd like to turn around and give that Power supporter at the back some lip. He'd be going very tired of that. Kingsley, one of the best players on the ground, and surely a favourite for the Michael Tuck medal. Brad Scott. Johnson thought about going to Chris Scott, and perhaps should have. Tried to find Hadley, but leaving himself very little margin for error out of bounds on the full.
If we look at all the players that have played in the midfield tonight and you add up their total possessions, it's been 182 to Port Adelaide and 118 to Brisbane. That gives you an idea of the midfield dominance.
Now there's been a turnover here, Jason. Stevens has lost it to Hadley, a bit of shoving. So Hadley takes it to Chris Scott on centre wing. Nick Stevens will just about get him. Gets his kick and pokes them inside 50. Bradshaw was a target. Socket out of his hands, up towards the half-back line, and the diving mark taken by Cockatoo Collins. Shays away, and so too is the Power. Kingsley takes it from Mead, picks up another possession as he goes to Corns, who was shoved out from underneath that ball, and is going to get a free kick.
Well, he's been pretty quiet tonight, Chris Johnson. He's been at Kane Corns all night, but that was just none too subtle at all.
Well, he spent a bit of time on the bench too, hasn't he? So hasn't been a night for him. But he's not on his own. Darryl White finds Cupido, and he finds the boundary.
On the full.
Gee, what else can go wrong for the Lions? Here's Shea. Can't get away, and he's been pinged.
He's tried to take his man on. Cupido's a hard man to get around. Kicks to centre wing.
He's done it twice in a row. You wouldn't believe that. Kicked it out on the full, and then he at least made up for the mistake with an excellent tackle on Cockatoo Collins to get the ball back. And what does he do? He donates it to the crowd in the outer again.
Tell you what, he had a hat-trick too because he missed the target with the spin as well. So it hasn't been a good minute for him. Burgoyne, short to Kingsley. Kingsley unloads. Corns, big fly, got a bit of a push. At the back, just got away from Polton. Probably should have marked it. I think it fell into his arms by surprise. Ball up inside 50. So they're just checking what to say at the presentation, do you think, Mark Williams and Matthew Primus, working out the speech?
Who do I think?
There wouldn't be a whole lot of tactics at this stage. 4 minutes to go. And a terrific pre-season for them. There's Mark Guerra, little short one. Wanganeen, not quite, but cleverly out. James, Johnson with him. James and Johnson. Kane Corns tries to get it out. Jude tried to slip it back. Franco, left foot. Oh, did it bounce in? No, out on the floor. Polton trying to get there. There's an evenness about this team that's impressive too, isn't there? And the ability to switch players from one end to the other. Polton is a good example. We see Clark getting ready to come on. As away go the Lions.
Pike goes to the outer side, and Ashcroft, who goes towards Big Bo, doesn't let him down. There's Johnson having another spell. McDonald towards Bradshaw, but again the power defence simply standing firm, and they've got the numbers at the back. Stevens perhaps then a little slow. Stolen by Lappin. Now an opportunity for the Lions. Goals have been like diamonds, very, very hard to find. Jonathan Brown back in the forward line may give them one here.
Certainly lifted his work rate in this last quarter. Jonathan Brown, very good down back, now pushing forward. Just waited for Lappin to have his bounce. Found a bit of space, put the short lead in. And probably for his efforts this quarter, it'd be nice for him if he could top it off with a goal.
Copying the rounds of the kitchen from this Port crowd in excess of 35,000. Good looking kick off the boot, but it's away to the right.
I don't know if it was just me, but it looked like he was holding the ball at an angle as he was walking in to have his shot then. That was extraordinary, the grip that he had on the ball. I
don't know about Sandy, but I'm not going to argue with you, Jason, if you say that. You kicked a couple more goals than I did. How about you, Sandy?
1,254, I think. More. Paxman going short. Kingsley. 20 kicks, 6 hand passes, 10 marks. Is that the stuff Michael Tuck medalists are made of? One gets the feeling it may just be. Cockatoo Collins almost caught, but turns on a 5-cent piece and then gives it over to Martin Pike.
They're just overusing the ball now, Port.
Just been a bit cute, haven't they? Just late, but you can forgive them. Pike's kick to half forward. Paxman belted it away. Another one of those players at both ends. Kingsley still going strong to Jew.
Go all the way and kick one.
He's
kicks it long and low. Beautiful kick. Gee, that was a searing kick to Polton. Stevens wants it. Is he kicked to the space? Can Stevens run onto it? They're pretty slow. Pike, Kennedy comes barging out. And then a little one. Lappin sits, waits, maybe robbed. Second go. Tell you what, there's some tired players out there. There really are. To Pike. Hasn't been too bad. He gets some distance to fall forward. Brown, Paxman. Gee, Brown can get his hands on it, can't he? Paxman cleverly. Kingsley, oh, well played again. Cockatoo Collins to the line, hasn't found it yet. Ashcroft tucked away, 40 metres out, handball cut off. Wilson, small possessions, big heart, good game again. Belts it to the line. Burgoyne, who had a very big first half. Clever handball to Franco. It's been a consummate performance by the Power. The kick to centre wing. White, well done. Corns, good contest again. Got in after it again. Good stuff late in the match, when a match is won. He's going to be a very good player, Corns, isn't he? Made his mark last year with his 21 games and 20-odd goals, but he's stepped up again. Well, what a win it's been for the local team. Suddenly they're out of the shadow of the Crows in this town, that is for certain. No doubt about that. It's been a great month for them, and for that man in particular. He's been under a lot of pressure here, Mark Williams. But he's stuck to his guns.
I suggest the pressure's off for a while, Bruce.
Just the last few seconds remaining. Ashcroft's kick to about 30 metres, and that's it. Port Adelaide have won a premiership, an Ansett Cup premiership in the AFL, and created a bit of history for themselves. It's a great night for them. And they won it so brilliantly, they've got so much to take from this match.
They did. It's been a consummate performance all round from Port Adelaide. The good thing is, you mentioned earlier, Bruce, is they don't have a team full of stars. They don't rely on one or two key players. It's been very much across the board. All players contributed at some stage of the night. Stuart Dew had a magnificent second quarter when he kicked those 4 goals. He just blew the game wide open. Adam Kingsley, probably the most consistent player of the night. He had 29 possessions and 11 marks. Look, they've given the crowd something to get very excited about tonight, and they'll certainly enjoy this presentation. And I do recall, I believe, during the week, Lee Matthews saying that whatever happens, he will keep his players out on the ground for this presentation.
He did. I think Neil Curley might be in a position to talk to Matthew Primus. Have you got him, Curls? Well, he is out there, but I'll keep on chatting here. I don't know if Neil's got his mic turned on, but he is out there talking to Matthew. I can say, how are you, Curls? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, got you now, Bruce. Sorry, Matty. We weren't switched on. We are now. That was a great team performance.
Yeah, it was. It was a pretty torrid opening of the game, but you know, the second quarter they gave Dewey a bit of latitude, and he really sparked us with his 3 goals in the second quarter.
The confidence of the players when they moved the ball around. Your kicking tonight, short and long, was just about faultless.
Yeah, well, look, we've been practicing our skills a fair bit over the pre-season, and you know, just got to trust your kicks, and you know, we're a pretty quick side, so we've got to use that to our advantage.
Your tackling and you're blocking the ball in the boot, that was also a big feature.
Yeah, that's something we've been working pretty hard on, is our aggression, especially in the middle of the ground, and you know, tonight I think we're a better side at it.
You've got a big night ahead of you. It's well earned. All the very best.
Thanks, girls.
So let's go down and join our Master of Ceremonies, Craig Willis, for the presentation after the 2001 Ansett Cup Grand Final.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it gives us a great deal of pleasure now to invite former Hawthorn champion and AFL Games record holder Michael Tuck to present the medal named in his honour to the player adjudged best on ground tonight in the Ansett Cup Grand Final here at Football Park. And Michael, if you would do the honours, please.
Good evening. It's a pleasure for me to be here tonight. I think we can all give Port, the whole team, a medal actually, but Adam Kingsley is the winner of the Michael Tuck medal.
Oh, thanks a lot. What a game. I'd like to thank all the supporters coming out and supporting us. I think it was 35,000 people here tonight, and every one of you has helped us get over the line, so thanks a lot.
Adam Kingsley, the winner of the Michael Tuck medal for 2001 in the Ansett Cup Grand Final. I'd now like to welcome to the microphone the Senior Vice President of Ansett Australia, Mr. George Frazers, to present the Ansett Cup cap to the captain and coach of Port Adelaide. But George, a few words if you would.
Ansett Australia is proud to be the sponsor of the Ansett Cup, and great to be part of the first AFL Grand Final here in Adelaide. Congratulations to both teams for a fantastic Grand Final, and congratulations to the winning team, Port Adelaide. The Ansett Cup is an important part of the competition of AFL, an important part of the start of the season. Ansett Australia also is the official airline of the AFL and flies teams to matches all over Australia. I'd like to end by thanking the Australian public for supporting the Ansett Cup over the last 5 weeks, and also for all of you to attending this great grand final of the Ansett Cup. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite to the dais the captain, Matthew Primus, and coach Mark Williams to accept the Ansett Cup.
It's terrific to see everyone here, especially all our true supporters out in the outer. I know there's 1,000 of you in the members, and it's great to come as well, but those guys never see us over there, so I started with them first. Thanks to you guys as well. Obviously, Brisbane will be very disappointed tonight, and you know, obviously, we know that they're going to be a lot harder unit in two weeks' time. But bad luck to those guys and to Lee. To my players, I'm really proud of you tonight. I think you've moved on a lot, really going well with this feedback, aren't I? Anyway, fantastic effort, guys, and let's all get back to the club and support the club. Thank you.
I'd just like to say the same as Chock. I'd like to thank the boys over there. It was a great game. You know, it was a great team effort, and we've got a few blokes who have been injured during the pre-season, Lady and Treaders and those kind of blokes, and you know, this win's also for you blokes. Thanks to the crowd for turning up. 35,000, fantastic. And also I'd like to thank Brisbane for a great game, and no doubt we'll see them in 2 weeks. Thanks very much.
Folks, I'd like to invite the boys to do a very quick lap of honour here and savour the moment as the champions of the Ansett Cup for 2001. And when the players have left the arena, we have a magnificent fireworks display for you to conclude proceedings tonight at Football Park.
Well, jubilant scenes here. There's another language when they got up. I'm not sure who Igor was, but we'll try and find out. Sandy, can you help me at all?
No, a couple of Igors, but I didn't think they'd be here tonight.
Well, it was a great win, no doubt, and all their fans have stayed. That's for sure. Barnaby Finch is on crutches just behind them.
They're just starting their lap. There you can see Barnaby with Mark Williams, and now the Lions at last are leaving the ground. So Lee Matthews keeping them out there, as he said he would. And they'll bounce back, don't worry. They'll come back here in a fortnight. But I think we can say that this team, Port Power, has arrived. As we look around this ground, 35,304. That many of us thought maybe if they got 25 here tonight, it would have been a good crowd. But they've given them marvellous support. And they've shown us something, Jason.
They certainly have. I think Bruce mentioned it a little bit earlier on that a few people might change their opinion of Port Adelaide now. They never looked to be one of the top teams on paper, but there's a lot of difference between what you see on paper and what you see out on the ground. They were very impressive tonight. Couldn't have been any more so.
But the
Great
one thing
comeback by Fabian Francis to see him there running his lap of honour.
One thing I do like, I think Lee Matthews did a very sensible thing in keeping the players out there to have a good look at that. I mean, he's thinking 2 weeks ahead already. He knows there's not many positives we can take out of tonight from a Brisbane point of view, so he said, well, stuff it. Sit out here and have a look at what you got yourself into and make sure you don't get in this situation again.
He is a wise man. Another thing he said in the build-up to the grand final is that they've had a very good month, Port Adelaide. You've got to have a very good 6 months to win the AFL Premiership at the end of the year, but it has been a really impressive effort. They've had all the advantages of playing 4 out of their 5 games at home, but you can't deny the fact that they hammered Essendon in the opening round of the Ansett Cup when we all thought the Bombers were invincible, and they've hammered Brisbane in the grand final. Matthew Campbell's with Mark Williams, who must be absolutely thrilled with what's happened over the last 5 weeks. Matthew.
Choco, it's just been outstanding over the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, it has. I know Foster's sitting at home watching, and I know he'd be really proud of where Port Adelaide has come, and I'd really like to thank all my other coaches as well. We did it tough last year, and to start this way, it's been great for them as well. And our team has played well, but now, in 2 days' time, everyone will forget this, and we have to really settle back on looking at that first round.
Got hold of control the ball in the midfield, and you're prepared to just square the ball into outside 50, knowing your Stuart Jews and your players like that can convert from 50, 60 metres out.
Yeah, I thought Stuart was exceptional. If I was giving the medal, I'd give it to him. I thought that he won the game for us. So, fantastic effort for him. I thought a lot of people got and contributed, and I suppose with the score like it is, you're always going to see that a lot of players were involved and they feel good about their involvement today.
Were you surprised at how easy it became after quarter time?
Telling you that we worked every minute of it up in the box. You really didn't. I think the last couple of minutes we enjoyed it, but Brisbane are a team. They lost Voss beforehand, and I'm sure that unsettled them a bit. And he'll be back in a couple of weeks' time, so it'll be a completely different game, and we really need to be ready, or they'll knock us off.
Lots of highlights, but we just saw a low light. Barnaby French just hobbled off a minute ago. Another big man with an injury problem, but at the moment things seem to be working well without him.
Yeah. Look, it's really disappointed. I know that Lady and Treaders and Harwood and Bishop, they're all out, and in a couple of weeks' time they'll be back. We got some good news today that Lockwood played really well for Central, so we hope that he might be right in 2 weeks' time.
And a big night out at Alberton tonight for the supporters. They'll be back there in their thousands.
I hope so. It's fantastic, and those that are still sitting wondering whether to become a season ticket holder, we really need you, and hopefully we're going somewhere this year.
Choco, the adrenaline must still be pumping. It's freezing down here, and Choco's not cold at all.
No, I think it goes with the territory, but I've really enjoyed it. I know it's hard to go over the top. We know we have to play in 2 weeks' time, and on the face of it, if you like.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Well done, Mark. A very happy Mark Williams, Bruce.
Thanks, Matthew. He's blunt, isn't he? Kingsley and Dew, I mean, it's a bluntness that at times I think has been misunderstood in this state, and he talked about Foss Williams, his dad, who hasn't been too good for a little while, and Vonnie, his mum, but Foss took Port to 6 consecutive premierships, I think between 53 and 58. I'm not sure if I'm exact, but certainly in the 1950s, a record that has stood the test of time in this state, just as Collingwood's 4 in a row has done in the VFL.